Right now, as you're watching this, something massive is happening in your life that you can't see. The universe is orchestrating events, aligning circumstances, and preparing you for a breakthrough so significant that it will completely redefine who you are. But here's the shocking truth. 99% of people miss it entirely because they're looking for the wrong signs. You think transformation comes with fireworks and dramatic announcements, but that's not how the universe operates. It speaks in whispers, not shouts. It communicates through a secret language that most people dismiss as coincidence, bad luck, or random chaos. The reality, every strange encounter, every unexpected delay, every weird feeling you've been having lately isn't random at all. It's coded intelligence designed to push you toward your next level. The universe doesn't send you a text message saying, "Hey, your life's about to change." Instead, it drops breadcrumbs through synchronicities that seem meaningless until you connect the dots. That person who randomly mentioned something you'd been thinking about? That's not coincidence. The book that fell off the shelf at the exact moment you needed guidance? Not an accident. The song that came on the radio right when you were doubting yourself? The universe responding to your frequency. Most people live their entire lives blind to this communication system because they're trapped in surface level thinking. They see a missed opportunity and call it bad luck. They experience a relationship ending and label it failure. They feel restless in their current situation and assume something's wrong with them. But what if I told you that these experiences aren't setbacks, they're setups for something extraordinary? The signs are everywhere, once you know what to look for. Vivid dreams that feel more real than your waking life. Conversations that seem scripted specifically for your ears. Moments of sudden clarity that hit you like lightning, revealing truths you somehow already knew. Your intuition becomes so sharp, it's almost uncomfortable, picking up on energy shifts that others completely miss. But here's where it gets really interesting. The people who recognize these signs aren't special or gifted, they're just paying attention to what's been there all along. They've learned to interpret the universe's subtle frequency instead of waiting for obvious signals that never come. And once you understand this language, you realize something mind-blowing. Your transformation isn't something that might happen someday. It's already begun. The first phase of this cosmic upgrade is called dissolution, and is probably the most misunderstood part of the entire process. This is when the universe starts gently removing things from your life that no longer serve your next level. Old friendships that used to energize you suddenly feel draining. Work that once fulfilled you becomes suffocating. Routines that brought comfort now feel like prison sentences. Your first instinct is to fight this dissolution, to desperately try saving relationships that are naturally ending, to force motivation for goals that no longer align with who you're becoming. You interpret this phase as loss, as regression, as evidence that something's going wrong in your life. But that's exactly backward. This dissolution isn't your life falling apart. It's your life making space for an upgrade. Think about it like this. Your phone can't install new software while running old programs that conflict with the update. The system has to close certain applications first, clear cache, create room for the enhanced version. Your life operates the same way. The universe can't bring you new opportunities, relationships, and experiences while you're still clinging to outdated versions that contradict your growth. The dissolution phase reveals itself through a series of unmistakable patterns. People who used to seek your company start becoming distant without any dramatic confrontation. Projects you were passionate about lose their appeal, leaving you feeling empty but somehow relieved. Places that once felt like home begin feeling foreign, as if you've outgrown the energy of your environment. This is where most people panic and make the biggest mistake of their transformation journey. They interpret these natural endings as personal failures and desperately try to resurrect what's meant to dissolve. They chase friendships that are organically fading, force enthusiasm for goals that no longer fit, and exhaust themselves trying to maintain a version of life they've already outgrown. The people who successfully navigate dissolution understand something crucial. Letting go isn't giving up, it's making room. They trust that what's leaving wasn't meant to accompany them to their next level, and they create space for what is meant to arrive. They recognize that the universe doesn't take anything away without replacing it with something better aligned with their evolving frequency. But just when you think you understand the process, the universe shifts gears again. The dissolution phase is only the beginning of something far more intense and transformative than most people realize. After clearing space through dissolution, the universe doesn't give you time to get comfortable. Instead, it cranks everything up to maximum intensity. Welcome to the amplification phase, where your entire sensory and emotional system gets turbocharged in preparation for what's coming. And this phase? It's absolutely wild. Suddenly, everything you feel becomes magnified tenfold. Joy hits harder, sadness cuts deeper, and your intuition becomes so sharp it's almost supernatural. You start picking up on energy that other people can't even detect. You walk into a room and instantly know who's lying, who's hiding something, who's genuinely happy. It's like someone upgraded your internal radar system overnight. But here's the part that trips most people out. During amplification, the universe starts giving you preview experiences, glimpses of your future success that seem to come out of nowhere. You'll have a random day where everything goes perfectly. Opportunities appear, people treat you differently, money shows up unexpectedly. Then just as quickly, it's gone, leaving you wondering if you imagined the whole thing. These previews aren't accidents or cruel teases, they're calibration sessions. The universe is literally showing you what your new normal will look like, training your nervous system to handle success instead of sabotaging it. Most people can't accept good things because they've been conditioned for struggle. These preview experiences are reprogramming your internal thermostat to expect abundance instead of scarcity. During amplification, your dreams become incredibly vivid and loaded with symbolism. You'll wake up with solutions to problems you've been wrestling with for months. Random conversations will hit you like divine downloads of exactly what you needed to hear. You'll notice number patterns everywhere. 1111, 333, 555, as if the universe is leaving you digital breadcrumbs, confirming you're on the right path. The intensity can be overwhelming. Your emotions swing wider than ever before. One day, you're bursting with confidence and clarity about your future. The next, you're drowning in self-doubt and confusion. This isn't bipolar behavior, it's your consciousness expanding to accommodate a bigger version of yourself. Growing pains aren't just physical, they're psychological and spiritual too. But just when the amplification phase has you feeling like you're losing your mind, the universe delivers its final challenge, the testing phase. And this part, it's designed to break most people. Here's what nobody tells you about the testing phase. It's not punishment, it's your graduation ceremony. The universe has spent months preparing you through dissolution and amplification. Now it needs to know if you're actually ready for what you've been asking for. So it creates a challenge specifically tailored to pressure test everything you've learned. The test always targets your biggest weakness, your deepest fear, your most persistent self-doubt. If you've been working on self-worth, you'll face situations that challenge your value. If you've been developing trust, you'll encounter scenarios that test your faith in the process. If you've been building confidence, you'll face circumstances designed to shake your certainty. This is where most people fail the test without even realizing they're taking it. They encounter this final obstacle and interpret it as evidence that their transformation was just a fantasy. They assume the universe is punishing them or that they're not worthy of the breakthrough they've been anticipating. So they give up right before the finish line, never realizing they were moments away from everything changing. The people who pass the test recognize what's happening. They understand that this challenge isn't random. It's the final requirement for their upgrade. They've been developing new qualities, new perspectives, new levels of resilience throughout the dissolution and amplification phases. The testing phase is their opportunity to demonstrate mastery of these qualities under pressure. But here's the mind-blowing part about passing the test. Success doesn't come from fighting the challenge or perfectly solving every problem. It comes from embodying the person who already has what you want. It's about responding to pressure with the energy of someone who knows their breakthrough is inevitable, not someone desperately hoping it might happen. When you pass the test, when you maintain your faith, trust the process, and respond from your upgraded identity instead of your old patterns, something extraordinary happens. The universe doesn't just give you what you asked for, it gives you more than you imagined possible. Doors that have been locked for years suddenly swing open. People who never noticed you start seeking your advice. Resources appear from unexpected sources. Opportunities multiply faster than you can process them. And the weirdest part, none of it feels like struggle anymore. You're not chasing success, it's chasing you. The breakthrough phase isn't just about external changes. The real transformation is internal. You realize you're not the same person who started this journey. Your relationship with uncertainty shifts from fear to excitement. Your response to challenges transforms from panic to curiosity. You stop trying to control outcomes because you trust your ability to handle whatever comes. But the most shocking revelation about breakthrough, it's just the beginning of something even more extraordinary. Once you break through, the universe doesn't just hand you success, it unleashes an avalanche of abundance that defies everything you thought you knew about how life works. This is the cascade effect, and it's absolutely mind-bending to witness. Here's what happens when you finally align with your cosmic timing. Every door that was previously locked doesn't just open, it gets ripped off its hinges. That job you applied for months ago, suddenly calls back with an offer that exceeds your expectations. The relationship you've been manifesting appears in the most unexpected way. The financial breakthrough you needed materializes through sources you never considered. But the cascade effect goes deeper than external rewards. People start treating you differently without you changing anything obvious about your appearance or behavior. They sense something shifted in your energy, something confident and magnetic that wasn't there before. Strangers offer help without being asked. Colleagues start seeking your opinion. Friends begin asking what you've been doing differently because you seem different in a way they can't quite explain. The weirdest part? You're not trying anymore. All those months of struggle, of forcing outcomes, of desperately chasing opportunities, that energy completely disappears. Success starts feeling inevitable instead of impossible. You make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. You choose opportunities instead of desperately grasping at whatever's available. This is when you realize the most shocking truth about transformation. The universe was never withholding anything from you. You were simply operating on a frequency that couldn't receive what was always there. The dissolution, amplification, and testing phases weren't punishment. They were frequency adjustments, preparing your internal radio to tune into stations that were previously just static. But here's where most people make their next crucial mistake. They experience this breakthrough and assume they've arrived, that the work is finished. They stop paying attention to synchronicities, stop trusting the process that got them here, and slowly drift back toward old patterns. Within months, they're wondering why the magic disappeared. The people who sustain their transformation understand something vital. Recognizing synchronicities isn't a phase you graduate from, it's a skill you master. They realize that breakthrough isn't a destination, it's a new baseline from which even greater transformations become possible. Learning to read synchronicities becomes like developing a superpower. You start noticing when the universe is trying to guide you towards specific people, places, or decisions. A random conversation mentions exactly the book you need to read. You take a different route home and stumble across the perfect apartment. You follow an impulse to attend an event and meet someone who changes your career trajectory. The key is learning to distinguish between real synchronicities and wishful thinking. Authentic cosmic communication has a specific quality. It feels both surprising and inevitable, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. It carries information or guidance that moves you forward, not just validation for what you already believe. Trust becomes your navigation system through this expanded reality. Not blind faith, but intelligent trust based on evidence. You've seen the process work. You've experienced dissolution leading to space for better things. You've felt amplification preparing you for bigger opportunities. You've passed tests that revealed capabilities you didn't know you possessed. This trust transforms your relationship with uncertainty from anxiety to anticipation. Instead of fearing the unknown, you start getting excited about surprises the universe might have planned. Challenges become adventures rather than obstacles. Setbacks become redirections towards something better aligned with your path. But perhaps the most profound shift is how you start viewing your entire life story. Those years that felt like random chaos suddenly reveal themselves as perfectly orchestrated preparation. The heartbreak that destroyed you actually cleared space for authentic love. The job loss that devastated you redirected you toward your true calling. The friendship that ended painfully taught you boundaries that attracted healthier relationships. You realized there were never any mistakes in your story, only chapters you didn't understand while you were living them. Every rejection was protection from something that would have limited your growth. Every delay was timing adjustment, ensuring you'd meet the right opportunities when you were ready to handle them successfully. This is when the ultimate truth hits you like lightning. You were never behind, never off track, never forgotten by the universe. You were always exactly where you needed to be, learning what you needed to learn, becoming who you needed to become. The cosmic shift wasn't something that happened to you. It was something you were always part of, something you were always co-creating with forces beyond your limited perspective. And now you're operating from an entirely different level of consciousness. You're not just receiving synchronicities, you're becoming one. Your presence starts creating positive changes in other people's lives. Your energy begins contributing to the cosmic orchestration that guides others toward their breakthroughs. The extraordinary life you've been glimpsing through previews and synchronicities, that's not your ceiling, that's your new foundation. Because once you learn to dance with cosmic timing, once you master the art of recognizing and trusting universal guidance, you discover something that will blow your mind. What you thought was your biggest possible breakthrough was just the universe getting your attention for something infinitely more magnificent.